Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Colleagues, we are meeting at the Global Atomic Forum, and I am pleased to welcome here heads of state, leaders of international organizations, and I hope that together we can have a substantive discussion on issues concerning the present and future of the atomic industry. Such dialogue is especially important in conditions where more and more countries and large companies see global nuclear energy as a crucial resource for long-term accelerated development. The attitude of society towards nuclear energy is consistently being shaped as an environmentally friendly technology that opens up vast opportunities. It is evident that there are fundamental reasons for such a paradigm shift. And it's not just the reliable solutions on which advanced nuclear power units are built. What is also important is that a fundamentally new technological order is emerging. Artificial intelligence is being implemented everywhere. Significant energy resources are required to process colossal amounts of data. Thus, in just the current decade, electricity consumption by data centers will more than triple. I would like to note in this regard that Russia is already creating such modular data processing systems at its nuclear power plants, since nuclear plants are best at providing a consistent and constant power supply. Another significant factor in the surge of interest in nuclear energy is the demand for so-called green technologies, which minimize the impact on the environment and climate. And I will repeat, the key source of clean, low-carbon energy are nuclear power plants. They surpass other energy sources in terms of the price to environmental component ratio and the ability to provide stable energy capacity. As a result, by the middle of the century, according to Mr. Grossi's forecast, if I am not mistaken, according to the IAEA forecast, the total capacity of all nuclear power plants in the world may increase by more than 2.5 times and reach almost 1,000 gigawatts. Moreover, the growth in demand for peaceful nuclear energy will be significantly driven by the countries of the global south and east, which are strengthening their technological and industrial potential. The desire for development, for the use of peaceful nuclear energy for these purposes, we certainly support. It can be said with some pride that only Russia today possesses expertise in the entire technological chain of nuclear energy, and thanks to their safety and resilience to external impacts, nuclear power plants built with Russian design are the most in demand in the world. I will also add that we are developing projects for both small, land-based and floating nuclear power plants. Just now, the head of Rosatom was telling us about this. Very soon, we will be producing them serially. The key to Russia's leadership is our principled approach. First, we strictly fulfill our contractual obligations. I want to emphasize this. We strictly fulfill everything regardless of any political situation. Secondly, we reject the so-called technological colonialism, meaning we do not make our partners dependent on Russian technical solutions. On the contrary, we help them create their own sovereign national nuclear industry, including training personnel and forming centers of competence. We actively involve local companies, assist in the operation of power units, ensure the supply of nuclear fuel and waste management. I will say more. We share experience and knowledge in the creation of other advanced industries of the 21st century. This is nuclear medicine, digital systems, electric transport, new materials. As a result, we help our partners make a real leap in development, brings the economy to a new level of efficiency, and ultimately improve people's quality of life. All this is an important public social dimension of our work, a visible confirmation that equal access to technologies, including in the field of peaceful nuclear energy, can ensure dynamic yet fair and sustainable global development. Dear colleagues, we consider peaceful nuclear technologies as a foundation for broad international cooperation, for bringing nations closer together. Russia is interested in creating stable and long-term conditions for projects in the nuclear field. Above all, for our country, the absolute priority is ensuring nuclear safety and the physical protection of nuclear facilities and installations wherever these facilities may be located. Therefore, it is necessary to continue increasing the requirements for safety and reliability at every stage of the nuclear cycle, including uranium mining, reactor operation, handling of spent nuclear fuel and radioactive waste. Moreover, regulation in this area should be adjusted so that to maintain a carefully calibrated balance between the development of peaceful nuclear energy and the strengthening of the nuclear non-proliferation regime. Furthermore, it is evident that the construction of nuclear power plants requires significant funds, and therefore the risks and benefits must be balanced among the main participants of such projects: states, investors, and consumers. I consider it necessary to develop modern financing models for the construction of nuclear power plants, involving international financial institutions and development banks in such projects. I will add in this regard that at the beginning of the current year, the new development bank established by the BRICS countries confirmed its readiness to finance nuclear projects, and at the end of last year, at Russia's initiative, a mechanism for coordinating the efforts of BRICS countries, a platform for nuclear energy, was created. The most important issue is the resource provision for nuclear power plants for decades ahead. To use peaceful nuclear energy in the long term, fundamentally new, more efficient technologies are needed. Russia is already working on creating such solutions. Actually, just before the start of this session with colleagues, before coming here to the hall, we were sitting and exchanging opinions in an informal setting. In this regard, I would also like to note that according to OECD estimates, all uranium resources will be completely depleted by the year 2090 under an optimistic scenario. This is approximately 8 million tons. However, it may actually happen as early as the 2060s. That is, it can all happen very quickly, right before our eyes, considering that a quarter of the reserves are in deposits where uranium is a byproduct. Already in the year 2030, now I am moving to the main point, which I believe Russia can be proud of. Because already in the year 2030, we in Russia, in the Tomsk region, plan to launch the world's first nuclear power system with a closed fuel cycle. What does this mean? This is, in the full sense, a revolutionary development by domestic scientists and engineers. What does this mean? It means practically the entire volume, 95% of the spent fuel, will be repeatedly used again in reactors. Such a mechanism will potentially allow us to practically completely solve the problems of accumulated waste, radioactive waste, and what is also extremely important is to essentially eliminate the issue of uranium supply. I would like to note that the testing of the entire range of advanced materials for the closed cycle is planned at the International Research Center. It is being established in the Ulyanovsky region in Russia. And we invite scientists from different countries to collaborate in the development of technologies that open up a new, without any exaggeration, new era in nuclear energy. Dear friends, our meeting, the Global Atomic Forum, is timed to coincide with two significant dates. This year marks the 80th anniversary of our national atomic industry, as well as the Day of the Atomic Industry Worker, which is celebrated annually in our country on the 28th of September. I remind you, we just talked about this with colleagues. I repeat once again, and would like to say in such a broader context, the first decision in the Soviet Union on the development of nuclear energy was made on the 28th of September, 1942, during the Great Patriotic War. And the results of perhaps the most dramatic period of the Great Patriotic War were not yet known. The Battle of Stalingrad was ongoing. The battle for Stalingrad, it had not ended, and the State Defense Committee made the decision to organize work on uranium. The work has begun. I would like to sincerely congratulate on the anniversary of the industry and the upcoming professional holiday of Russian nuclear workers, scientists, industry veterans, and of course, the forum guests, and in your person, specialists from the former republics of the USSR, united by the traditions of the great Soviet Ministry of Medium Machine Building, must definitely continue them. I wish you new great successes for the benefit of the citizens of our countries and, without exaggeration, all of humanity. Thank you for your attention.